Now at 9, after hearing concerns from community members, the Pittsburgh commissioners tour a new downtown outdoor hangout.
As Memorial Day passes, we officially enter the 100 deadliest days of summer, the time period where fatal crashes, especially those involving teen drivers, are most likely to happen. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
And a delay in FEMA funding prevents a bridge rebuild east of Springfield.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
New downtown outdoor venue invite Pittsburgh City Commissioners to clear up concerns over alcohol sales and minors in attendance. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The Greenway at 2nd and Broadway opened earlier this month. It's designed as a family-friendly outdoor food truck court and beer garden. The property owners also have an indoor bar connected to the Greenway called the Biles Brothers. But during the May 13th City Commission meeting, another business owner expressed concerns regarding a new ordinance permitting all ages access to the new venue. Now, this exemption allows minors onto premises that are used as an outdoor entertainment and recreation area. Under the new rules, alcohol purchased in the indoor bar cannot be taken outside, and alcohol purchased outside cannot be taken inside. Also, anyone under the age of 21 will not be allowed to enter the Biles Brothers bar. Pittsburgh City Manager Darren Hall says he understands the concerns, and a deeper analysis of the city's liquor laws is underway.
Currently, we have somebody reviewing all of our liquor licenses and CMB licenses the city's operating under. And yeah, we plan on going back and giving the commission a report on that when we're finalized.
The Greenway plans to open Thursday through Saturday evenings, weather permitting. In recent years, the city of Pittsburgh added a similar exemption, allowing minors and alcohol sales for the Main Street Axe Company. The Pittsburgh School District is expressing condolences and offering counseling following the death of a student in a car pedestrian accident. USD 250 today sent an email to families and staff concerning the death of Jordan Baldwin, a 5th grader at Westside Elementary. Jordan died yesterday from injuries suffered in a crash on 4th Street last week. The district says counseling and support are available starting today. The email says, in part, Jordan was a cherished and important member of our school family. He will be deeply missed by all who knew him as we come together to grieve. We ask for your compassion, sensitivity, and support for the family. As Memorial Day passes, we officially enter the 100 deadliest days of summer. It's the time frame when fatal car accidents, especially involving teen drivers, are the most likely to happen. Samantha Walker has more on local efforts to make the roads safer.
This year, AAA projected a record number of drivers on the road for Memorial Day weekend. Experts say that increase in drivers is a part of what makes this time period the 100 deadliest days of summer.
Also, pedestrians, cyclists, runners are out enjoying the nice weather, and that could really lead to an increase in the potential for issues and unfortunately, crashes that involve injury and even death.
According to the Joplin Police Department, May is one of the top 3 months they see crashes in. This time period is especially dangerous for teen drivers.
About a third of all deaths that involve teen drivers throughout the year occur during this period between Memorial Day and Labor Day.
According to AAA, nationwide, more than 7,000 people died in teen driver-related summer crashes from 2013 to 2022. In 2023, there were 97 total crash deaths in Missouri alone, with teen drivers involved.
So we get a lot of local wrecks. Before this, I was a fireman here in town and was firsthand seeing a lot of the wrecks, and especially this time of year when people are over the road, and drinking was involved.
The Joplin-based nonprofit Alliance of Southwest Missouri hosts a driving safety course with the hopes of making people of all ages more confident and safe on the road. The coordinator of the program says nowadays there are a lot of distractions that could lead to wrecks.
I think everybody realizes when you don't use a cell phone, you're doing everything right. You kind of tend to forget that a lot of the other drivers do not drive like that. A lot of them are on their cell phone, or kids in the car, young people with a lot of friends in the car is a major distraction.
They say taking steps to be safe on the road isn't just about protecting yourself, but those around you as well.
They feel like they're good drivers, but they lack experience in evading car wrecks, somebody coming in their lane, crossing over the yellow line, and overconfidence is a lot of it.
Our decisions behind the wheel can affect not just our life, but the lives of our passengers, the lives of those drivers and pedestrians and cyclists around us.
Reporting in Joplin, Samantha Walker, KYM News.
Experts with AAA recommend parents work out a driving agreement outlining who's allowed in their car and where and when they can drive. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, we've had a pretty rainy weekend that led into a rainy Memorial Day. Most of the day today, a few showers, a few scattered thunderstorms throughout the morning hours, but all of this rain has pushed off to our east and we're left with overcast skies for the rest of the evening. Now, temperatures are going to continue to drop down through the 60s into the upper 50s, and we're also going to start to see some patchy fog developing tonight. You can see south of I-44, visibility dropping less than a mile, but as we head into tomorrow morning, we're going to see visibility dropping in Kansas, southeast Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, and still south of I-44, dropping down to about 2 miles or less visibility in some isolated areas. It burns off really quickly, though, and then we're in store for a nice Wednesday. We finally get to see the sun again, and temperatures getting above 70 degrees, but I'm going to have those details coming up.
Well, a well-traveled bridge east of Springfield is still out of commission after rushing floodwaters washed out much of the ground surrounding it last November. Adam Woodbury spoke with Wright County officials about when traffic can begin crossing again.
Now you can see behind me here this massive hole that opened up. It starts just before the creek on the west side. The county tells me they are working with FEMA to get it all repaired, but it's a process that takes a long time. The stair-step road bridge spans the Whetstone Creek just southeast of Hartville. The county said it was built around 7 years ago, but as you can see, after last November's flooding, the bridge needs extensive repairs, around $300,000 worth. I spoke with the county commissioner, Randy Pamperine, who said that they've been working with FEMA to get funding. He says FEMA has approved the application, but it's been a long process.
You know, we don't only have this bridge, we have 2 other bridges that are closed. And each one of those bridges has similar damage, and each one of them is about $300,000 a piece. So we're looking at $1 million or more to fix all 3 of those bridges, and the county doesn't have that kind of funding.
Well, Commissioner Pamperin says they're nearing the point where they can send out requests for bids for contractors to fix the bridge, and they're hoping to have it open by the end of the summer. Well, coming up, D.C. cold cases reopened.
The FBI taking a new look at 3 unsolved Biden-era cases. I'm David Spunt in Washington. That story coming up.
But up first in Health Watch, as some legislative officials cast a negative light on fluoride in drinking water, dentists disagree, saying the mineral is effective in preventing potentially life-threatening tooth decay. Their recommendations for best practices for good dental hygiene.
Nominate your 4-state.
It's signing day for 30 men and women who've chosen to help save lives at Freeman Health System. The graduate nurses were honored at the Ron Richard Athletic Center at Missouri Southern for completing 2 years of medical schooling. Now, while athletes sign letters of intent to play at the next level, these nurses are signaling their willingness to do everything in their power to comfort patients and save lives.
I am very appreciative of those around me and how hard they've worked to become nurses. So anybody that you went to school with, they all kind of become like sort of a fellowship to you. You all have what you went through in nursing school in common and your end goal.
Each graduate nurse honored tonight will eventually take the national exam required to become a registered nurse. Well, adding fluoride to public drinking water started in Grand Rapids, Michigan back in the late 1940s. Dentists say it was so successful in helping to prevent cavities that it was hailed as one of the top public health measures of the last century. Since then, about 2/3 of the U.S. has access to this type of water. But with a number of legislative officials now advocating against fluoride being added to water, dentists say it could jeopardize millions of people's oral health, especially growing kids. Ted Linder reports.
As added fluoride in drinking water continues gaining flack among some politicians, dentists are pushing back, warning that removing the mineral could have negative consequences for millions. Back in April, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said he was planning to tell the CDC to stop recommending fluoride in drinking water nationwide, claiming it's linked to arthritis, thyroid disease, and more.
The data that they have is flawed.
The CDC recommends about 0.7 milligrams of added fluoride per liter of water. A report last year from the National Toxicology Program revealed drinking water with more than twice that amount was associated with lower IQs in kids.
There are no studies that show any negative effects when it's optimally done.
Recently, Florida joined Utah in becoming the second state to ban local governments from adding fluoride to their water.
Yes, use fluoride for your teeth, that's fine. But forcing it into the water supply is basically forced medication on people.
While dentists say fluoride in toothpaste can strengthen tooth enamel and prevent cavities, many say ingesting fluoride that's in water has added benefits over time.
It helps teeth before they form. So as the body's making teeth, the fluoride helps toughen up the tooth enamel, so when the tooth comes in the mouth, it's stronger.
And preventing cavities is key to warding off potentially life-threatening tooth decay.
Full-blown infections, facial swellings, and infections that can be major medical emergencies.
Ted Linder, Fox News.
Well, Lindsay is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, communities still reeling from last year's hurricanes face a new storm season. Will they recover in time?
Rock the woods.
Well, we've had a rainy weekend. Finally going to get to see some sunshine, though. You can see downtown Joplin Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. Overcast skies remain for the evening and into early tomorrow morning as all of this wants to finally get out of our area. Then we're left with a pretty nice day on Wednesday. Not expecting any rain chances through the day until later in the evening, and then it spikes as we head into Thursday morning until Thursday early afternoon. Now, even though we could see some showers and thunderstorms, so we're not expecting a severe threat. So you can see we're going to possibly get some evening showers, evening thunderstorms Wednesday night, and then scattered showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. But again, no severe threat there. So as we walk through our Wednesday morning by 8 a.m., pretty cloudy still. All of those clouds do start to push out of here, and we're left with partly to mostly sunny skies throughout the day. Now, clouds do come in waves, so we're not quite getting a full sunny day all day long. And then later in the evening, more clouds start to push in along with a few of these rain showers. By about 7 p.m., southeastern Kansas is going to see a couple isolated showers pushing through. Then later in the evening, around 11 p.m., thunderstorms and heavier rain pushes into our northern counties. This settles into the area. We're going to get some more widespread thunderstorms and heavy rain showers throughout the overnight hours. Now, again, not expecting any of this to be severe, so you're going to be able to sleep through it. Nice little sleep sounds, but this is continuing through the morning. So about 3 to 4 a.m., southeastern Kansas getting those thunderstorms, but they're going to start to push in to the Joplin metro early in the morning. By 7:30 to 8 a.m., when you're planning on getting up and getting your day started, we're still getting a lot of rain showers in the area. All of these will start to taper off, and then we're left with a couple of isolated showers sticking around through the afternoon. Clouds do start to break apart, get some southerly storms and rain showers and a couple storms pushing in from the north as well. They don't quite make it into our area, but we do get a few clouds from those later in the evening. And then by Friday, we're finally getting into a long stretch of sunny days. But we've had so much rainfall this month, even just the last couple of weeks. We really are at capacity with rivers and even fully saturated soil. So we're not expecting a lot more accumulation through Thursday, which is a good thing. We don't need any more. We're getting potentially 1/10 of an inch all the way to about an inch of rain in some of those areas that are going to see heavier rain. And then as we get into the rest of the weekend, we're settling in a ridge over our area, which is going to bring us chances for warm up, sunny skies. Now, We have a little shortwave trough that could bring potentially some storms Saturday night, pop-up thunderstorms due to just the temperatures getting pretty warm, and again that shortwave a little pushing through that could cause some storms to pop up, but that's a pretty low chance. Outside of that, we're looking really good. We've got sunny skies through the weekend. Temperature is getting back into the 80s, which is about average for this time of year, and then a couple more isolated chances of rain sprinkled throughout your forecast.
I've been enjoying this cool weather. Well, we've got the perfect way for you to stay ahead of the severe weather season. Just scan this QR code with your phone and head straight to the updated weather resources page on our website, where you can find information on storm shelters, weather updates, closings, and road conditions. You can also find tips for watching live streams in real time. It's called the Weather Resource page on KOAMnewsnow.com. For millions living in tropical storm-prone regions, the arrival of a new hurricane season is typically business as usual. But in the wake of last year's deadly and costly systems like Hurricane Helene, many victims are still struggling to recover 8 months after the destruction. Gary Baumgarten takes a closer look at how many are faring as they keep worried eyes to the sky awaiting future storms.
So we're predicting an above average season once again, 2025 above average.
In the wake of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's 2025 Hurricane Outlook Report, residents and business owners across swaths of the South still suffering from the devastation caused by last year's storms. Hurricane Helene made landfall in Florida's Big Bend almost a year ago before inflicting some of the worst damage as it tore through mountain communities in western North Carolina. Intense winds and flooding caused roughly $60 billion in damage across the Tar Heel state and killed more than 100 people.
About 30% of our total business community was just totally destroyed in the flood.
Local officials in Chimney Rock Village hope to reopen their tourist-friendly downtown by Memorial Day. The damage was too severe.
Anybody that's shot a gun or a bow and arrow knows you don't always hit the target.
Still, signs of ongoing recovery persist.
We've been here for almost 30 years. And for us, the day after the storm, we didn't even question whether we were going to rebuild or not. We knew right away that we weren't going to let go.
But officials say there are plenty of others who say they don't have the heart or the finances to rebuild. Many are still ironing out their plans as weather experts urge them to start preparing for this season's storms.
These businesses lost everything. They lost their building, their land.
This year's Atlantic hurricane season kicks off June the 1st. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
Well, coming up, a royal pushback.
King Charles is in Canada, pushing back on President Trump's suggestion that it become the 51st state. I'm Alexandria Hopp in Washington. I've got the details coming up.
Sign up to win O'Reilly Outlaw National.
Springtime is in full bloom, bringing with it new life and the beauty of nature. Unfortunately, that's not all it brings, as bugs make their seasonal return as well. Pest control companies across the 4 states are already reporting a spike in calls. KOAM's Lonnie Walton caught up with a professional for advice on how you can keep these unwanted guests out of your home.
I do love butterflies. Monarch butterflies are gorgeous.
Valerie Tritchell is a local enjoying the day in the park. We asked her and others what their favorite outdoor bugs are.
I love caterpillars and I love bees. Without bees, we may never survive.
Definitely a butterfly. I love all the different colors that they come in. I love that they symbolize like rebirth and new beginnings.
Although all these people love these bugs, there are some they don't want to see in their home.
Definitely spiders.
If it has more than 4 legs, I hate it.
The cockroaches.
Well, David Sullivan from Plunkett's Pest Control in Pittsburgh has some advice for these locals.
Cockroaches can be brought in from just about anywhere, on Amazon packages, from the grocery stores.
Not only that, Sullivan says he's seeing ants, and guess what else? Spiders.
Spiders, we're definitely seeing an increase in spiders, particularly the brown recluse.
And why do they want to be in our homes?
Food, water, and shelter. And if they find these things in your home, they will set up shop.
And if one of our locals happen to see a cockroach,
probably kill it.
If these bugs come anywhere near Valerie, she says she's got it all figured out.
It's called a husband.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Sullivan says it's important to keep openings like windows and doors sealed properly in order to help keep your home pest-free. Up next, young artists unleash their creativity at a week-long art camp in Pittsburgh. See how this event is inspiring the next generation.
Time's running.
Today, young artists set up their paints and canvases for a week-long art camp. Art Form Gallery in Pittsburgh is hosting the event to give students a chance to express their creativity. For one instructor, the camp provides a way for young artists to learn some real-world skills.
Most kids have just gotten off of, they're starting summer break, and it's so important to have a variety of things for kids to do, and especially for kids who maybe aren't booked with sports or other things. This would be just a supplement for the summer.
The students in the camp range in age from 6 years old to 17, and there are still openings in the afternoon teen session if your child is interested. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. The FBI reopens 3 explosive Biden-era cases: the Supreme Court leak, White House cocaine, and the D.C. pipe bombing. The question, why now? And King Charles visits Canada, delivering a powerful message on independence as tensions with the U.S. escalate.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The FBI is cracking open 3 of D.C.'s biggest unsolved mysteries. Deputy Director Dan Bongino says he and FBI Director Kash Patel are throwing fresh firepower at these cases. David Spunt has the latest.
The FBI cracking back open 3 major Biden-era cases: the leak of the Supreme Court draft opinion overturning Roe v. Wade, the discovery of cocaine at the White House, and the D.C. pipe bomb investigation. Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino making the announcement on social media over the weekend. Quote, shortly after swearing in, the director and I evaluated a number of cases of potential public corruption that, understandably, have garnered public interest. We made the decision to either reopen or push additional resources and investigative attention to these cases. The FBI now continues to analyze video of a masked suspect planting a pipe bomb outside the Democratic National Committee headquarters and the Republican National Committee headquarters on January 5th, 2021. Bongino and FBI Director Kash Patel also want to look into cocaine found in a locker in the West Wing of the White House in the summer of 2023, where officials say hundreds of people pass through each day, including visitors. The Secret Service could not narrow down the suspect pool below 500 people and shut down the investigation just days later. And finally, the FBI taking a closer look at how reporters at Politico received the Supreme Court Dobbs case, overturning Roe v. Wade, and published it weeks before the Supreme Court overturned the federal right to abortion. The Supreme Court did an internal investigation, but never named a suspect. The move towards transparency is being welcomed.
I think that sunlight and transparency is critically important. And it's because they've been using the criminal justice system and investigations to achieve political goals, political ends. And we cannot have that.
Bongino says if you have any information, you can reach out to the FBI. In Washington, David Spunt, Fox News.
Well, 2 escaped inmates are still on the run after a daring escape from a New Orleans jail nearly 2 weeks ago. Authorities recaptured 3 of the fugitives yesterday, including accused murderer Linton Van Buren, arrested by Baton Rouge police. Texas troopers arrested the other 2 after a high-speed chase north of Houston, more than 300 miles from New Orleans. Well, King Charles III makes a big pitch for Canada's independence as President Trump considers plans to make it the 51st state. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff has more from Washington.
True North is indeed strong and free.
King Charles III got a warm welcome during a historic visit aimed at reinforcing Canada's independence. A big show of support as President Trump continues discussing the possibility of taking the country by force and turning it into the 51st state. The King spoke about Canada's unique national identity and directly addressed the ongoing tariff war with the U.S.
The system of open global trade that, while not perfect, has helped to deliver prosperity for Canadians for decades, is changing.
King Charles was invited to make what's called a speech from the throne. It's the first time that's happened in almost 50 years. And he gave a blunt assessment of the situation, saying the world hasn't been this dangerous since World War II. but he also struck an optimistic tone as well.
Many Canadians are feeling anxious and worried about the drastically changing world around them. Yet this moment is also an incredible opportunity.
U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra criticized the Canadian government, claiming it shouldn't be using the King to send a message to President Trump. But folks on the streets of Toronto say they are glad the royal family has Canada's back.
The connection to Great Britain allows us autonomy over our bully state to the south.
If the British monarchy plays a more active role in Canadian politics and standing up for Canada, then I welcome the British monarchy.
The last British monarch to address the Canadian Parliament was Charles's mother, Queen Elizabeth II. That was back in 1977. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Well, Lindsay's next with a complete look at your forecast, and later in a firefight, seconds can make a difference over whether a home is saved or goes up in flames. How the Gila hydrant is offering up solutions for drought-prone areas.
Quad Parts.
Well, we've had a rainy weekend. Finally going to get to see some sunshine, though. You can see downtown Joplin Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. Overcast skies remain for the evening and into early tomorrow morning as all of this wants to finally get out of our area. Then we're left with a pretty nice day on Wednesday. Not expecting any rain chances through the day until later in the evening, and then it spikes as we head into Thursday morning until Thursday early afternoon. Now, even though we could see some showers and thunderstorms, we're not expecting a severe threat. So you can see we're going to possibly get some evening showers, evening thunderstorms Wednesday night, and then scattered showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. But again, no severe threat there. So as we walk through our Wednesday morning by 8 a.m., pretty cloudy still. All of those clouds do start to push out of here, and we're left with partly to mostly sunny skies throughout the day. Now, clouds do come in waves, so we're not quite getting a full sunny day all day long. And then later in the evening, more clouds start to push in along with a few of these rain showers. By about 7 p.m., southeastern Kansas is going to see a couple isolated showers pushing through. Then later in the evening, around 11 p.m., thunderstorms and heavier rain pushes into our northern counties. This settles into the area. We're going to get some more widespread thunderstorms and heavy rain showers throughout the overnight hours. Now, again, not expecting any of this to be severe, so you're going to be able to sleep through it. Nice little sleep sounds, but this is continuing through the morning. So about 3 to 4 a.m., southeastern Kansas getting those thunderstorms, but they're going to start to push in to the Joplin metro early in the morning. By 7:30 to 8 a.m., when you're planning on getting up and getting your day started, we're still getting a lot of rain showers in the area. All of these will start to taper off, and then we're left with a couple of isolated showers sticking around through the afternoon. Clouds do start to break apart, get some southerly storms and rain showers and a couple storms pushing in from the north as well. They don't quite make it into our area, but we do get a few clouds from those later in the evening. And then by Friday, we're finally getting into a long stretch of sunny days. But we've had so much rainfall this month, even just the last couple of weeks. We really are at capacity with rivers and even fully saturated soil. So we're not expecting a lot more accumulation through Thursday, which is a good thing. We don't need any more. We're getting potentially 1/10 of an inch all the way to about an inch of rain in some of those areas that are going to see heavier rain. And then as we get into the rest of the weekend, we're settling in a ridge over our area, which is going to bring us chances for warm up, sunny skies. Now, we have a little shortwave trough that could bring potentially some storms Saturday night, pop-up thunderstorms due to just the temperatures getting pretty warm, and again that short wave a little pushing through that could cause some storms to pop up, but that's a pretty low chance. Outside of that, we're looking really good. We've got sunny skies through the weekend. Temperature is getting back into the 80s, which is about average for this time of year, and then a couple more isolated chances of rain sprinkled throughout your forecast.
All right, something to keep an eye on. Thanks, Lindsay. Still ahead, Nevada and Seneca High School baseball both hope to advance to the state quarterfinals. Plus, Diamond High School softball faces Kennett in the state semifinals. John Dales has those stories and more up next in sports.
Diamond High School softball won the Class II state championship a year ago, and the Wildcats did so with an extra innings victory over Kennett in the state title game. Now this afternoon, those same two teams meet again in the state semifinals. Rematch of the 2024 state championship, Diamond faces Kennett, this time in the Final Four. Lady Wildcats waste no time. Top of the first, already up 1-0 after a sac fly, and Talon Daniels keeps the line moving with a single to left field. Next batter, Kenzie Crook drives one into the gap in right center. 2 runs will come in to score. The Wildcats are up 3-0 after the RBI double from Crook. And they're not finished in the first. Next batter, Tellen Ingle. She hits a bloop to shallow center. That drops as well. Wildcats have runners on the corners. Next up, Sarah Roselle, who bounces it sharply back to the pitcher. Her throw to first gets away. Crook scores from third. Ingle comes all the way around from first to score as well. Diamond jumps out to a 5-0 lead and doesn't look back. Lady Wildcats win it 16-8. They'll play for a state championship against Warsaw tomorrow. For high school baseball in Missouri, only a few of our local teams remain alive in the playoffs, and 2 of them are in action tonight. Those are Class 4 sectional games for Nevada and Seneca. If they both win, they'll face each other in the quarterfinals later this week. We start with Nevada, who is on the road at Blair Oaks, and that's where the Tigers' 2025 season comes to an end. They get shut out by the Falcons, final score 3-0. Nevada completes the year with a final record of 18-12. Elsewhere, Seneca at home tonight, and the Indians, they lose as well. They fall to Logan's Rogersville 6-1. Seneca scored the first run of the game and brought a 1-0 lead into the fourth, but that's where the Wildcats score all 6 of their runs. They keep the Indians scoreless the rest of the way. Seneca finishes the year with a record of 21-10. And in the Mid-America League, the Joplin Outlaws, they're back in action tonight, starting their first road trip of the season with a rematch of last year's league championship game against the Abilene Flying Bison. Outlaws won that game last August, and they're winning big right now. As we come on the air, Joplin holds a 10-2 lead in the bottom of the 8th. And closing things out with a look at Major League Baseball. Yesterday, both the Cardinals and Royals lost the opening game of their respective series. Cardinals are in Baltimore, and they beat the Orioles 7-4 tonight. St. Louis scored the first 3 runs of the contest, then Baltimore responded back with 4 unanswered runs to take the lead before the Redbirds then tack on 4 more in the 7th and 8th innings. Series finale is tomorrow evening. That's at 5:30. Over in Kansas City, the Royals lose to the Reds again tonight. This time the final score 7-2. Tyler Stevenson had a big day at the dish yesterday. He continues that trend today, opening the scoring with a second inning solo home run. And Ellie De La Cruz hits 2 home runs and scores 3 runs for the Reds. That's it for sports. We're back right after this.
As regions out west face lengthier wildfire seasons, seconds can make the difference over whether a home is saved or goes up in flames. But those seconds disappear fast, especially if helicopters have to travel far to find water to refill. Fox News' Sue Guzman takes a closer look at the invention, hoping to bridge the resource gaps.
With Memorial Day marking the unofficial start of summer, much of the country is bracing for hotter weather and with it, drier conditions that can increase wildfire risks. The threats especially high out west, where crews across California tackle flames from both the ground and the air. But while helicopters can make an impact, many in drought-prone areas need to fly far to refill from lakes or ponds. This can eat away at precious time where flames can spread.
When we brought helicopters into the wildland-urban interface to fight fire, we didn't think initially of making permanent hydrants for helicopters.
The heli hydrant hopes to help. It's an open tank designed for choppers to refill closer to the origin of a fire. A heli hydrant tank is gravity fed by a local drinking water system.
We test it constantly to make sure that the water is being directed into the tank only.
Helicopter pilots can signal to the tank on their way over to refill. Choppers can fill up in less than a minute.
He sends a signal similar to Morse code. They turn on, provide water, and the pilot has an unending available source of water.
Back in November, firefighters in San Diego put a heli hydrant to the test, with crews tapping the tank roughly 40 times to combat the garden fire. At least 10 heli hydrants are up and running across Southern California. Work to install more than a dozen others presses on.
We're going to change the way firefighting's done in California and hopefully around the country.
Sue Guzman, Fox News.
From the woman in the yard to Yellowstone, we get a rundown of this week's new digital, DVD, and music releases. Up next. A legendary Oscar winner, iconic cartoon characters, and a pop superstar are among the new digital DVD and music releases available to add to your home library. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin runs down the list of what's new in home entertainment.
And Mom, there's a woman in the yard.
Topping this week's list of what's new in home entertainment, the horror mystery The Woman in the Yard, which centers on a grieving widow whose sorrow turns to fear when a ghostly figure appears with a deadly warning and won't go away.
You're going down a very dangerous road.
Robert De Niro delivers dual roles in The Alto Knights. He plays Frank Costello and Vito Genovese, two former friends turned rival mob bosses fighting for dominance in 1950s New York.
Nobody will remember you when you're dead.
Jonathan Majors stars in Magazine Dreams as an aspiring bodybuilder willing to risk everything, including his health, to achieve his dream of stardom.
There's no use fighting it.
Daniel Craig is an American living in 1950s Mexico City who becomes infatuated with a much younger expat in the romantic drama Queer.
What's your plan here?
Rachel Sennett and Io Debris star in Bottoms. The teen comedy follows the duo as queer, unpopular best friends who start a self-defense club to meet girls, only to have their plan backfire when it spirals into a full-blown high school brawl.
Looks like it's up to us to save the Earth.
Porky Pig and Daffy Duck become unlikely heroes and Earth's only hope when facing the threat of an alien invasion in the animated adventure The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie.
Their only option is to sacrifice the ranch.
Fan favorite series to own, Season 5, Part 2 of the hit family drama Yellowstone, and the historical drama Outlander Season 7. In music, Miley Cyrus releases her 9th album, Something Beautiful, which will be paired with a film of the same name featuring all 13 tracks. The project will play in theaters for one night only, June 12th, following its premiere at New York's Tribeca Film Festival. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of Hong Kong's newest baby pandas, Gia Gia and Day Day. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.